Hello again, everybody. We're going to continue along with Polaris sector. We had just we just finished exploring the Peacock systems, and was deciding to send my scout back for refueling. Can't get to our home space, but it can at least get to this fuel hauler. And we've discovered a new area of research, the study of alien flora and fauna, the genetic manipulation of samples, creation of hybrids for adaptation of alien biology to meet the needs of one's own race. And this should then basically allow us to research applied sciences, now one of which is the marine farm, which is what I was talking about in the last episode, which will basically unlock the usefulness of the aquatic planets. We can select that as a priority to research, but for now I'm just going to leave it as it's set up. That may be a mistake. Do feel free to comment in the comment section if that is one, if anybody even watches these videos, of course. And let's continue on. Again, desert, useful later, not right now. But we do have the fuel to make some more progress with the research. Now then, let's just see. Yeah, it would take on about 8,000 odd fuel. We've got plenty to give in that sense. So yeah, let's refuel from the tanker and then go and colonize Peacock. How much does the tanker now have? 29,000, so yeah, that should be okay. So again, new system, nothing exciting. On we go. Another oceanic, which is, as I say, it's kind of not amazing right now, but will be very, very handy in the future. We've got a colonizer on the way. I don't know if it'll be able to get over there. We might need to use the fuel holder to give it a boost. Polaris. So I don't really know why we can't get to that one. Maybe maybe there's something special about it. It's obviously the brightest star, it would seem, on this map, and I believe it's in reality it's the brightest star in Earth's sky, and has been used for centuries and centuries by navigators to find their way, the sort of North Star. We can get back for fueling, and let's do that. So we've constructed our colonizer, and I've had to click to put colonists on board so many times in my first game I just forgot to load the colonists on. I don't know why you would want to build a colonizer and then not add the colonists. There are a few clunky systems in this game which I think perhaps puts people off it. I'm going to build yet another colonizer, just in anticipation of hopefully finding something. We're going to continue to be optimistic. In the meantime, we'll send our colonizer over here and see whether we can sort out the fuel issue. Now then, our scout is going to refuel from this tanker, and so we have explored all of these planets up here. Let us go on and let's discover something closer to home. Presumably we could have explored that via telescopes or so by now, but anyway, I suppose there's no substitute for actually being there. Okay, so we're going to colonize this aquatic planet. For now, I think our colonists are just going to be limited to this dome, and we're going for food production, so agricultural. So yeah, the colonial module is where the people will be stuck for now. There's not going to be much expansion. Let's resume. And I'm just going to slow it down little bit whilst I think and just make sure I've done all of the things that I wanted to do. So we're already building a new research centre here, which is great. I mean, we have to keep an eye on balancing resources and things like that. But you know, anybody who's played any 4X game will know that you know, research is well, you just cannot underestimate it as a powerful force, and it is often decisive. Let's carry on exploring west over here. Don't know if west is technically correct in sort of the galactic sense, but for the purpose of this map it will do. And we've discovered a new colonized world, again an ocean world. Now, perhaps more useful for me in one sense, because it will at least extend our borders out over here, and this can be sort of a fuel stop for our ships. The fuel is supplied from your territory pretty much immediately. You just need to build a colonizer there. It doesn't need any special infrastructure or anything like that to become a fuel stop. So yeah, we can't get there, but I would imagine our fuel hauler can give us the boost necessary to do so. Or at least that's my hope. It just needs to chug along. I mean, in fairness, you wouldn't expect it to be the fastest of ships being loaded with fuel, but hopefully it can serve its purpose. And Eta Centaurus and a gas giant. Nothing exciting. We can move on. And we've got our new colonizer. So again, we can't actually reach where we need to, but let's, in the interest of saving time, we'll send him out as far as we can. Yeah, more colonizers, more people, more planets. Let's carry on in this vein until we've taken as much as we possibly can. And I did say I wanted to send you out. Yes. Go. We'll sort that issue out in due course. So we've got the colonizer here, and hopefully, if we top up, he'll then have the fuel needed to get to where we want him to go. So let's see, will that do it? Yes, it will. Okay, you can't get back to our own space, but this is a one-way trip. So, and let us get the fuel hauler back. Our scout ship has scouted. So I'm quite happy that really this is a dead end, because if we can close off the Altair system or something like that, all of this would be safe. Obviously, it's not particularly useful right now, but there were some desert planets and things over here that it's good to get within our sphere of influence for later development and exploitation. So our scout has come back. Can we get him out there? Actually, what we'll do is we'll bring the scout that's in the west currently, and we'll send that one down south whilst we try and dispatch this one back east again. So our little ships go about their various missions. It is a big map, and we could have made it a lot larger. There are 9 other factions, so we've already encountered one, but don't know exactly where they are. Though we expect they're off in the east. So we've got our colonizer as far as we can send it on a little bit more. And we've arrived at a planet to colonize. Again, it's an oceanic world. This one, again, very good for food in the future. So we'll just bookmark that as an agricultural one. So a bit of Bit of waiting now whilst our fuel hauler chugs along. And indeed it has, and off you go. So our sort of scout that was out in the west has refueled, and we'll send him south now to see whether there's any planets down here, any choke points that we can get to sort of secure all of this side. And we've got another colonizer, and this time my optimism hasn't been rewarded. We haven't found a new planet just yet. So what I will do is, I think at this stage it's going to be worth us, because they do tend to come in handy, building another fuel hauler. Later on we'll be designing and building some military ships, and there you don't really want a lot of your hull space taken up with the need for storage of fuel. You know, you want to keep them as far as possible focused on combat. So I do find it quite useful to have a fuel hauler to go along with them. Later on in the game, when the fuel storage technologies become more efficient, it's far more possible to have ships that can kind of have the range as well as the sort of the firepower. But we're a way off that yet. Let's go to Albriero. See whether that links up with this one down here. And it does, but there is a colonizable world, and we will grab that again. It's an ocean one, so not amazingly useful. I have loaded my my colonists, which is good. Check that. And can we go on again? We can indeed. Obviously, as we seem to get closer to the galactic center, it's going to be far less likely that there are sort of dead ends and things like that. So our scout now has come to the fuel hauler. I'm just going to wait because I want as a priority that colonizer to be able to move onwards. Nothing exciting there. Kappa Pegasus. We'll see if that holds anything for us. Desert planets, as I say, they can be pretty good later on, but not of any great importance right now. So our fuel hauler has arrived. Let us stock up the colonizer. It didn't probably need all of that fuel, but it doesn't seem to be a way to just take a limited amount. And yes, we'll head off there. And how long does it actually? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to refuel the scout as much as we can. Send that one on its way, and then the fuel hauler we will actually send to Zeta, even though it's not colonized yet. But of course we are going to colonize it, and as I said, you don't need any infrastructure to be able to supply fuel. They just pull it out of thin air, and it acts as a supply base straight away. And yeah, so we need to go back for refueling with this scout. Ooh, the Urgan fleet. You do get pirates in this game, which is why I was wondering what that was, but none yet. We will eventually need to build up our defences. The pirates, they're more of an annoyance really than a major threat, but they can impede what you want to be doing and destroy orbital installations and things like that. Oceanic, again, the food is just very good here, so we will go again agricultural. And we're apparently violating some borders that I didn't know about. Do I want to open borders with them? No, not at this stage, so we'll just end the conversation in a rather rude way. Okay, so yes, this must be their... it's not their home planet, because there's only 7,000 odd of them. so they must have colonized this, which is annoying. They're getting into the area that I wanted to have for myself, so we may not be peaceful for all time. So our fuel hauler has refueled at the new colony. Probably stole all the fuel off them, but anyway. And I'm just wondering where we should keep it. What we'll do is we'll bring it back up to Ain here, just as being more likely to be useful. And we've reached a new system up here, which is going to be within these guys' control space, but there is an anomaly that we can have a look at, and we've got a wall of text. Anyway, legends tell of an ancient race called the Prioni, one that has commanded technology capable of storing massive objects in small, lightweight warp containers by placing enormous strain on the space-time continuum. Some even believe that those warp containers, instead of storing objects, are actually capable of some kind of portal into a pocket universe. Long story short, these basically contain parts of a spaceship that we can grab, and if you are able to get all the bits of the spaceship, you will get a very powerful spaceship. I've never been able to do it yet, but that's probably due to my inexperience than anything to do with the game. So basically we've got to load that into the cargo hold and then send our ship back. We're going to want to send it to somewhere fairly safe, because we don't want anybody else stealing the parts of that powerful warship. And on we go. Yes, it's a shame that there's no colonizable planet so far along this sort of line, which would have just locked things off nicely for us. But we've just got to persevere right now. So our scout has come back. Let's push on down this route this time. And our fuel hauler can stay there whilst it waits for our scout to come back. At this stage I might build another scout or two, just because the avenues are opening up. But whilst the avenues are opening up, there is this problem of fuel supply. But let's get a third scout just to make sure that we're grabbing what we can. No other colonizable planets other than the one we're already on our way to, and we've got a fuel hauler on this sort of east side, so we'll send one over to the west to take care of any requirements we have over there. And our fleet has arrived, our colonizer rather than our fleet, and again an oceanic planet. This one, horrific production, not bad science, and again great food. So I'm going to go with agricultural yet again. So hopefully we'll have loads of food, but as I say, there's this kind of period where it just doesn't work for us right now, because we haven't got the technology to be producing vast amounts of food. So our scout has arrived, and we're going to refuel, and this area up here I assume is just going to have been claimed completely. So let's go to Delta. Actually, there's probably no right answer at this stage. We need to just explore as much as we can. And Deneb, nothing too exciting. Seem to have said that a lot, but that is the nature of this game, getting it going. Onwards we go. And onwards. And a bit of luck maybe for us. Another oceanic. But I'm greedy. I do want it. So we'll finish completing that scout first, whilst we explore onwards and boldly go, etc. Right, so we brought the fuel hauler back. Let's just see whether our fuel hauler can do us a little bit of brief exploration. Obviously missed that scout being done. Right, so we've got a dead end there. Let's get some fuel and then we can explore the other path. We've got a space anomaly here. No interesting planets. What? Some more biology. So our fuel hauler is complete. We could send it to Altair as a way of maybe extending this scout's range. Let's explore this little triangle. So our fuel hauler has explored this for us, which is a dead end, which I was a bit surprised about, but I suppose the gap is a little bit wide. So yeah, potential desert planet for the future. Nothing for now. So really, as soon as we can get a colonization dome for any of these sort of hot or desert planets, we need to be getting out here as quickly as possible and trying to seize a choke point. And on that front, I am going to just have a look at the research and see whether we can prioritize that. So we've got an atmospheric dome here, which allows us to colonize planets without a breathable atmosphere. I'm going to set that as a priority because currently we're going to get it in 487 years, whereas if I do it as a priority, there's still 487 years. It's 476 years. Well, let's see how we get on. But I do want that. Oh, and we've started to get pirate fleets. Now this is the problem, you see, in that they're not doing anything really damaging there, but they are going to block transit between these new colonies, which is going to be pretty irritating because if I want to send anything out here, we're going to have to go through them. They also then may move to above our planets, and that's going to be a pain as well. So we will, for example, already not be able to send the colonizer over to Ptolemy. I will complete this scouting as we've only got a year left to go, but then yeah, we're going to have to start militarizing space. So we've got our scout now, just waiting for the fuel hauler to rendezvous. And the pirates are moving out to Sham. Our fuel hauler has moved there, so what we'll do is we'll move him there. We'll cancel that chap, move him there so they can rendezvous and again extend the range. This scout has been completed, which is great, and what we'll do is we'll send the scout out. Well, we'll send it east as well, just simply because that's where the opportunities are, as the pirates have closed us off. Now then, what we want to do now is design a warship. Now there are a couple of ones already made, this carrier for example, but it's only got one hangar, which I don't like. If you're going to be a carrier, then do it sort of properly. I think it's because they try and be a bit of a jack of all trades. I'm going to delete the existing designs and start from scratch, which we'll just call it a carrier because that's what I want to have as its primary role. Let's start with the engines. Put these, put those large ones in ideally, but then I'd only be able to have. Let's have a look. No, it makes my brain hurt doing something like that as well. Okay, so we're going to need 3 of these engines in there, and I think there's just one deck for engines. 34 is a very fast speed, but that's going to come down as we add various components. So let's just make sure we've got enough power added to at least service the engines. And you can see it just at this early stage of technology how much space these basic components take up. In fact, what I'm going to do, if I can, is put one of the reactors up here. Can I make this a bit more efficient? Possibly. And now the game is going to punish me for having criticised this layout by probably showing you cannon. There we go. I've got my 2 hangars now. So we've doubled up the hangar space, and then we'll stick the reactors in at the front here. We haven't got any fuel cells, so it can't really go anywhere. And this is what I was on about earlier, or in the last video, that range is a huge issue for warships, and we don't even have the power to deal with that. So it could be that we have to wait for further technologies, but I really don't want to leave those pirates hanging around. So what if we increase the fuel, increase the power? Can we add any more fuel? Because really a range of 2 is not great, and we can, right, so we can get the range up to 4, which is not brilliant at all, but at least it's fully powered. It can get to 4. We can hold a complement of fighters. I do not think we're going to have the power, however, to put on any other weapons. Oh, we can. Right, so these lasers, these beam lasers, are not brilliant at fighting enemy ships, but they will give us a tiny element of anti-aircraft, anti-fighter firepower. So we'll leave that, we'll leave the armor as it is. We could upgrade the armor, but it'll slow the carrier down, and really I want to be able to try and keep these carriers out of combat. So let's go back now. So we've created our carrier design, back to the global map, and we're going to go with 2 carriers, which is going to take us quite a while. So we're looking at 11 years to build those, and we'll inevitably need a fuel hauler to go with it. Now I'm just double checking that the distance between the stars, it's fine. I once designed a ship which couldn't get from one star to the next one, let alone actually complete a whole journey. So it didn't matter how much fuel it had, in the sense of it could have a fuel tank with it, but they can't refuel mid jump. So that was very frustrating, but hopefully I won't make that same mistake again. And let us move onwards. So we're using more metal than we are producing. That's unavoidable at this stage. So we've got our fuel holder and our scout together, so we'll refuel there, and then in the next video we will journey onwards. Thanks guys.